Sundar Pichai was born in a modest home in Chennai, a busy city in the southern part of India. His family was not very rich, but they were full of love and hope. Sundar's father worked as an electrical engineer, and his mother was a stenographer. Even though they didn't have much money, Sundar's parents believed deeply in education and always encouraged him to study hard. From a very young age, Sundar showed an unusual interest in gadgets and machines. While other kids played outside or watched cartoons, Sundar was more curious about how things worked. He would open up old radios or broken toys to see their parts. Sometimes he would put those things back together, and other times he would end up breaking them completely. But this curiosity was the start of something special inside him. At school, Sundar was a quiet boy. He didn't speak much in class and was never the center of attention. He had a soft voice and was a bit shy when talking to others. This made some children see him as an easy target. At that time, schools in Chennai were not just places for learning. They were also places where children learned social behavior, and sometimes unkindness showed itself. Sundar was smart and excelled in his studies, but he did not fit in with the group of boys who liked to play sports and show off their strength. His clothes were simple, often worn and old, because his family could not afford new or expensive outfits. These small differences made him stand out in a way that some of his classmates found funny. Or rather, they found it a reason to tease him. Among those who teased him was a boy named Raghu. Raghu was bigger, louder, and one of the most popular boys in the school. He was strong and confident, but also cruel. Raghu liked to feel powerful by picking on kids who seemed weaker or different. Sundar was an easy choice. Raghu would often snatch Sundar's lunchbox or knock his books out of his hands. He would make fun of Sundar's accent and laugh loudly so that others could hear. Sometimes Raghu would say mean things about Sundar's family background or his quiet nature. When Sundar tried to speak up, Raghu and his friends would just laugh even more, making him feel small and powerless. These moments were hard for Sundar. Inside he felt a mix of fear, sadness, and confusion. Why was he being treated this way? What did he do wrong? But Sundar didn't tell anyone about these troubles. He was too shy to share his pain with teachers or friends. Instead, he tried to ignore Raghu as much as possible. Sundar believed that if he just worked hard and focused on his studies, maybe things would get better in the future. His parents noticed that something was wrong, but Sundar never spoke about the bullying. At home, he was a different child, happy and curious, surrounded by family warmth. His father, although strict, was very proud of Sundar's interest in technology. He would bring home old radios, calculators, and other electronic devices for Sundar to examine. His mother encouraged him to be patient and strong, reminding him that intelligence and kindness were more important than being loud or popular. Sundar's school life was a mix of bright moments and difficult challenges. In class, he was among the top students. His teachers noticed his sharp mind and dedication. Sundar loved science and mathematics, subjects where logic and understanding helped him shine. While Raghu ruled the playground with his strength, Sundar ruled the classroom with his brain. But the pain of being bullied did not leave him. Sometimes he would walk home feeling sad and wondering if he would ever be accepted. Despite all this, Sundar's passion for technology grew. He dreamed of creating new things and helping others with inventions. In a city where many children wished to become doctors or engineers like their parents, Sundar's dream was a bit different. He wanted to be someone who could change the world with ideas. But for now, those dreams were kept quietly inside his heart, protected from the harsh words and laughter of his classmates. One day, Sundar found himself standing alone in the schoolyard during lunch break. Most children were playing cricket or chatting with friends. Raghu and his gang were nearby, throwing jokes at other students. Sundar clutched his lunchbox tightly and tried to stay invisible. But it was not long before Raghu spotted him. With a loud voice, Raghu shouted, "Hey, Nerd, where do you think you're going with that boring food? Bet it tastes like cardboard. The other boys laughed loudly. Sundar kept walking without replying. He knew that any reaction would only make things worse. But just as he was about to reach the gate, Raghu stepped in front of him and grabbed the lunchbox. He opened it, looked at the simple food inside, plain rice and vegetables, and sneered. "You eat this? No wonder you're so weak." He threw the lunchbox on the ground, scattering the food. Sundar's heart sank. His lunch, prepared with love by his mother, was now ruined. Sundar looked up and met Raghu's eyes. There was no anger, no tears, only quiet pain. Raghu laughed and walked away, feeling victorious. Sundar bent down slowly to pick up the pieces of his lunch. A few classmates looked at him with sympathy, but no one stepped in to stop Raghu. This was a daily reality for Sundar, moments like these that tested his courage every day. At home that evening, Sundar was silent during dinner. His parents noticed but said nothing. Instead, his father handed him an old, broken calculator he had found. "Here," he said softly. "Try to fix this." Sundar's eyes brightened. This small gesture meant the world to him. It was a reminder that even when the outside world was harsh, there was a safe place where he could explore and be himself. As weeks passed, Sundar kept his head down and focused on schoolwork. He joined a small group of students interested in computers and technology, a rare club in those days. There, he found friends who shared his passion. They would stay after school, working on simple computer programs, dreaming of the future. Sundar's resilience was quietly building. The bullying continued, but he learned to protect himself with knowledge and patience. Sometimes he wondered what made Raghu act so mean. Was Raghu unhappy? Did he have problems at home? These thoughts helped Sundar not hate him, even though Raghu hurt him many times. When Sundar was about to finish school, he applied for a scholarship at the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, IIT, in Kharagpur. This was a big step, a chance to leave behind the painful memories and begin a new chapter. Sundar worked day and night preparing for the exams. He believed that if he succeeded, he could build a better life. The day he got his acceptance letter, Sundar felt a mix of joy and nervousness. Leaving Chennai meant saying goodbye to his family and the neighborhood he knew so well. But it also meant escaping the school where he had been bullied. His parents were proud but worried about their son going so far away. On the train to Kharagpur, Sundar looked out of the window thinking about his journey. The quiet boy from Chennai was about to enter one of the most competitive places in India. But this time, he was determined to stand tall, not as a victim, but as a winner. Though the memories of Raghu and those tough school days never left him completely, Sundar learned an important lesson. Sometimes, the hardest challenges teach us the greatest strength. His childhood was a story of pain, yes, but also hope, curiosity, and an unbreakable spirit. As Sundar stepped onto the campus of IIT, he was no longer the shy boy with old clothes and a broken lunchbox. After Sundar left his childhood
He was a young
home in
man
Chennai, with a bright
and
arrived
mind,
at the Indian
ready to
Institute
take
of
on the world
Technology in
and
Kharagpur.
one day
change it his life
forever.
began to change in many ways. The campus was huge, with sprawling buildings, crowded hostels, and thousands of bright students from all over India. For a boy who had spent his entire childhood in a small, familiar neighborhood, this new world was both exciting and overwhelming. At first, Sundar felt nervous and out of place. Many students were confident, dressed well, and spoke in ways that made him feel like a small fish in a big pond. But Sundar remembered the years of quiet patience and focus that had brought him here. He knew he had to keep working hard and stay true to himself. He was not going to let anyone's opinions or the fear of being different stop him now. In his first semester, Sundar faced new challenges. The classes were tough, with subjects like advanced physics, mathematics, and computer science demanding long hours of study. The professors expected students to be quick thinkers and problem solvers. Sundar had to learn new skills fast. He spent most of his days in the library, reading textbooks and writing notes. When others went out to party or play cricket, he was often found in quiet corners, focused on his studies. Despite the pressure, Sundar's passion for technology kept him motivated. He loved learning about computers and how software could solve real-world problems. In the early 1990s, computers were still rare in India, and not many students knew how to use them well. Sundar was curious and eager to explore this new world. He joined a small computer club on campus, where he met other students who shared his interest. Together they experimented with programming languages, wrote simple codes, and dreamed about the future of technology. Slowly but steadily, Sundar gained confidence. He began to speak more in class and even participated in group projects. His professors noticed his quiet but strong intelligence and encouraged him to push himself further. Some of his classmates started to admire his dedication and kindness. Sundar was no longer the shy boy from a small neighborhood. He was becoming a respected student and friend. Life at IIT also exposed Sundar to new ideas and cultures. He met people from different states of India, each with their own language, food, and traditions. Sometimes he struggled to understand their jokes or customs, but he was always open-minded and willing to learn. These experiences helped Sundar grow not just as a student, but as a person. He learned the value of patience, respect, and teamwork. After completing his degree at IIT Kharagpur with excellent grades, Sundar faced a big decision. He had the option to take a well-paying job in India or continue his studies abroad. His parents were proud but worried. Sending their son far away to a foreign country was not easy for them to accept. They knew Sundar's dreams were big, but they also feared the unknown. With courage and determination, Sundar decided to accept a scholarship to study at Stanford University in the United States. This was a turning point in his life. Moving to America meant leaving everything familiar behind: his family, friends, and the culture he had grown up with. It also meant facing new challenges: a different language accent, cultural differences, and a fast-paced environment. When Sundar first arrived at Stanford, he was struck by the beauty of the campus and the diversity of students. People from all over the world studied there, each bringing their own unique story. At the same time, Sundar felt lonely. The weather was colder than Chennai, and he missed the warmth of home. Classes were intense, and many students seemed confident and outgoing, which made Sundar's natural shyness more noticeable. However, Sundar was determined not to let these difficulties stop him. He remembered how he had faced bullying and struggles in his childhood, and how his parents' support had kept him strong. At Stanford, he threw himself into his studies and research. He worked on projects related to computer science and materials engineering, fields that fascinated him. Slowly, Sundar began to build friendships. He connected with other international students who understood the challenges of adapting to a new country. They would share stories of homesickness and encourage each other to keep going. Sundar's humility and kindness made him well-liked among his peers. His professors at Stanford saw his potential and offered guidance. Sundar often stayed late in the labs, experimenting with new ideas and learning programming languages. He was fascinated by how technology could connect people and solve big problems. This period shaped his vision for the future. After completing his master's degree, Sundar faced another big choice. Many of his classmates aimed for careers in finance or consulting, attracted by high salaries. But Sundar was more interested in working for a company that valued innovation and could make a real impact on the world. He joined Applied Materials, a technology company where he worked on designing computer chips. This job gave him hands-on experience in a cutting-edge field. Sundar enjoyed the challenge of solving complex problems and collaborating with talented engineers. But he also dreamed of a place where he could work on products used by millions of people every day. Later, Sundar decided to pursue an MBA at the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. This was a chance to learn business and leadership skills, which he believed were important to turn ideas into reality. At Wharton, Sundar was once again a hard-working student, balancing studies with internships and networking. After graduating, Sundar's career took a significant turn when he joined Google in 2004. Google was then a fast-growing tech company, known for innovation and creativity. Sundar started working on the Google Toolbar, a small software tool that helped people search the internet more easily. His ability to understand both technology and user needs made him an important part of the team. As Sundar worked on new projects like Google Chrome, a web browser that quickly became popular worldwide, his reputation grew. He was known for his calm approach, attention to detail, and willingness to listen to others. Even as he climbed the corporate ladder, Sundar remained humble, remembering his childhood struggles and the lessons he had learned. Throughout his journey, Sundar never forgot where he came from. He often spoke about the importance of education, perseverance, and kindness. Sundar's story inspired many young people in India and around the world, showing that with hard work and focus, anyone could overcome obstacles and achieve their dreams. By the time Sundar became CEO of Google, he was no longer the shy boy who once suffered bullying. He was a leader with vision, empathy, and strength. His journey from a small neighborhood in Chennai to the top of a global technology company was a testament to resilience and hope. Even as he succeeded, Sundar stayed connected to his roots. He returned to India often, supporting education and technology initiatives. He wanted to help young people like himself have opportunities to grow and learn. Sundar believed that success was not just about personal achievement, but about giving back and lifting others. His life was a remarkable example of rising above challenges. The bullying that once hurt him became a silent motivation to work harder, to be better. Sundar's story showed that kindness and intelligence, combined with determination, could change the world. Through his journey from IIT to Stanford, from applied materials to Google, Sundar demonstrated that no matter where you start, your future depends on the choices you make and the values you hold dear. His story inspired millions to dream big and believe in themselves, no matter what hardships they face. Years passed, and Sundar Pichai's life had changed in ways that even he could not have imagined as a shy boy growing up in Chennai. From a small neighborhood, he had traveled across the world, studied at some of the most prestigious institutions, and worked at one of the biggest tech companies in the world, Google. His name was now known by millions, admired for his intelligence, humility, and leadership. Despite all this success, Sundar remained grounded. He had not forgotten the small moments that shaped his childhood, the moments of struggle, learning, and even pain. He often thought about those days quietly, knowing they had prepared him for the challenges ahead. One day, during a visit back to India, Sundar was scheduled to attend a Google outreach program. The program was designed to encourage young students from small towns and cities to explore technology and dream big. Sundar was excited to give back to the community and inspire the next generation of innovators. The outreach was held near Chennai, not far from the place where Sundar had grown up. After the event, Sundar decided to take a walk through the familiar streets, feeling a wave of nostalgia wash over him. The neighborhood was much the same, bustling with people, small shops lining the roads, children playing cricket, and the sounds of everyday life. As he walked, Sundar decided to stop at a small grocery store to buy a bottle of water. The shop was simple, with shelves holding basic items like rice, oil, soap, and snacks. Behind the counter stood a middle-aged man quietly arranging the products. The man looked familiar, but Sundar couldn't place him at first. When the man looked up, their eyes met, and Sundar's heart skipped a beat. It was Raghu, the very same boy who had bullied him so many years ago in school. Raghu was no longer a loud, confident teenager. He looked older, tired, and a little worn by life. Raghu did not recognize Sundar immediately. He stared, blinking, in surprise. When it finally clicked, there was a moment of silence between them. Raghu's face showed a mixture of shock, embarrassment, and perhaps regret. Sundar's mind raced with a flood of emotions: surprise, curiosity, and a hint of sadness. In that brief silence, many memories came rushing back for Sundar. The lunchbox thrown on the ground, the cruel words, the moments when he had felt small and powerless. Yet standing there, Sundar felt something else, a sense of calm and maturity that had grown inside him over the years. Raghu cleared his throat, almost nervously, and said, "Sundar, is it really you?" His voice was quieter, less confident than before. Sundar nodded and smiled gently. "Yes, it's me." The shop was quiet except for the sound of cars passing by and the distant chatter of neighbors. Sundar could see that Raghu was uneasy, perhaps expecting harsh words or anger. But Sundar didn't say anything mean. Instead, he spoke softly, "It's good to see you after all these years." Raghu looked down for a moment and then sighed. He admitted that life had been hard for him. After school, he hadn't been able to continue his education. Without good skills or qualifications, Raghu had struggled to find steady work. Eventually, he ended up running this small grocery shop to support his family. Sundar listened carefully, feeling a mix of emotions. It was clear that Raghu's life had taken a difficult turn. But instead of feeling anger or revenge, Sundar felt compassion. He knew that everyone has their own battles, and sometimes people who hurt others are themselves hurting inside. They talked quietly for a few minutes. Sundar asked Raghu about his family and how things were going. Raghu was honest, sharing how the years had been full of challenges, but that he tried his best to provide for his wife and children. Before Sundar left, he took out a business card from his pocket and handed it to Raghu. "If you ever need help or advice, please reach out," Sundar said warmly. Raghu looked at the card, clearly surprised by Sundar's kindness. But Sundar didn't stop there. After returning from his trip, he quietly contacted a local non-profit organization that helped small businesses. Without making a fuss, Sundar arranged for them to visit Raghu's shop and offer assistance. They helped Raghu set up a simple digital system to manage inventory and payments more efficiently. Raghu was grateful but humbled by the support. For the first time in many years, he felt hope that he could improve his life and that of his family. The kindness Sundar showed made a deep impression on him. Word about the meeting between Sundar and Raghu began to spread quietly in the neighborhood. People were surprised to hear that Sundar Pichai, the famous tech CEO, had met his old bully and treated him with respect and generosity. But Sundar never talked about this encounter publicly. For him, it was a personal moment of growth and understanding. Raghu, inspired by Sundar's example, began to change. He became more patient and respectful towards others, especially children who reminded him of his younger self. His shop became more organized, and he even started saving money to improve his family's future. For Sundar, this encounter was a powerful reminder that true strength is shown not by revenge or anger, but by grace and compassion. Meeting Raghu again made Sundar realize how far he had come, but also how important it was to stay humble and kind. He thought about how success is not just about fame or wealth, but about how one treats others, even those who once caused pain. Sundar never mentioned this story in interviews or speeches, but it remained a quiet lesson in his heart. As Sundar continued his journey as a leader at Google, the memory of that day stayed with him. It reminded him of the power of empathy and forgiveness. It showed him that everyone deserves a chance to improve, and that kindness can change lives in ways that words cannot fully express. After the quiet but meaningful reunion with Raghu, Sundar Pichai's life entered a new chapter filled with important responsibilities, exciting challenges, and deep reflections. As the CEO of Google, Sundar was now at the helm of one of the world's most powerful technology companies. Every decision he made could affect millions of people worldwide. This was both a great honor and a huge responsibility. Sundar had always been a humble and thoughtful leader, but now the pressure was even greater. The tech world was moving fast. New innovations appeared every day, from artificial intelligence to cloud computing. Competitors were growing stronger, and the public expected Google not only to lead in technology, but also to act responsibly. Sundar understood that being a leader meant more than just making profits. It meant making the right choices for people and the planet. One of Sundar's biggest focuses was on building a company culture where everyone felt respected and included. He remembered his own journey, how it felt to be a shy boy from a small neighborhood, sometimes unsure if he belonged. He wanted Google to be a place where people from all backgrounds could thrive. Sundar encouraged openness and kindness among employees, believing that great ideas come from teamwork and respect. During his early years as CEO, Sundar worked hard to support diversity at Google. He pushed for hiring more women, people from different countries, and those with different experiences. He knew that technology was not just about machines but about humans, and having many voices around the table made products better and fairer. Sundar often spoke about the importance of empathy, understanding the feelings and needs of others, as a key to innovation. However, leading Google was not always smooth. Sundar faced many tough challenges. One of the biggest was dealing with privacy concerns and the ethical use of technology. As Google's services became part of daily life for billions of people, questions arose about how data was collected and used. People worried about their privacy, and governments around the world started demanding more transparency and control. Sundar knew these concerns were real and deserved attention. He believed that trust was the foundation of any technology company's success. Without trust, users would stop using Google's products. Sundar took these issues seriously and worked to improve how Google handled data. He pushed for better security measures and clearer explanations for users. At the same time, he encouraged innovation in areas like artificial intelligence, aiming to create tools that could help people while respecting their privacy. Another challenge Sundar faced was the increasing competition in the tech industry. Companies like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Facebook were constantly innovating and expanding their services. The market was fierce, and Google had to stay ahead to keep its place. Sundar's leadership was tested as he made decisions about investments, product development, and company direction. Sundar believed that the key to staying ahead was focusing on the users. He encouraged his teams to create products that were simple, helpful, and accessible to everyone. Under his guidance, Google launched many new initiatives, from improving search algorithms to expanding cloud services and developing new hardware like smartphones and smart home devices. Despite the fast pace and high stakes, Sundar kept a calm and steady approach. His humility and patience helped him listen carefully to his teams and consider different perspectives before making decisions. Sundar also valued learning and growth, encouraging employees to keep improving their skills and take risks. Beyond the business, Sundar cared deeply about how technology could address global problems. He believed that tech companies had a responsibility to use their power for good. Under his leadership, Google increased its efforts in sustainability, working to reduce energy consumption, invest in renewable energy, and support environmental projects worldwide. Sundar also supported educational initiatives, especially in India, where he grew up. He wanted young people to have access to technology and learning opportunities that could help them build better futures. Google partnered with schools and nonprofits to provide digital skills, training, scholarships, and resources for students and teachers. While managing all these tasks, Sundar never lost sight of the importance of his own personal values. He remained connected to his family, who were his greatest support. Sundar often spoke about how his parents' love and sacrifices had shaped his life. He also remembered his roots and tried to stay humble, no matter how high he rose. At times, the pressure of leading such a huge company was exhausting. Sundar worked long hours and faced criticism from different sides, whether about company policies, social issues, or the impact of technology on society. But he accepted that criticism was part of the job and used it as motivation to improve. 1. Particularly difficult moment came when Google had to face questions about its role in politics and free speech. As a global platform, Google's search engine and YouTube had enormous influence over the information people saw. Sundar and his team had to balance freedom of expression with fighting misinformation and harmful content. This was not an easy task. Sundar worked hard to develop clear policies, transparency, and better tools to protect users while respecting rights. Through all these challenges, Sundar's leadership style remained consistent, calm, thoughtful, and focused on doing what was right rather than what was easy. He believed that technology should serve humanity, and that companies like Google must act responsibly. Sundar's journey also inspired many young people around the world. He often shared his story, emphasizing the importance of education, perseverance, and kindness. Sundar reminded them that success was not just about intelligence, but also about character, how you treat others, how you respond to failure, and how you keep learning. In many ways, Sundar's leadership showed that being a CEO is about more than managing a business. It's about being a role model, a problem solver, and a visionary who can see beyond profits to make a positive impact on society. Despite the fame and responsibilities, Sundar stayed true to his roots. He continued to visit India regularly, supporting startups, education, and technology growth in the country. Sundar believed that India's young population was a huge opportunity for the future of technology and innovation. Sundar's story was also a reminder of the power of humility and empathy in leadership. Even as the head of a giant company, he listened, learned, and treated people with respect. This approach earned him loyalty from employees and admiration from the world. As technology continued to change the world rapidly, Sundar's steady guidance helped Google navigate both opportunities and challenges. His vision was clear: to build technology that makes life easier, safer, and better for everyone. Through his leadership, Sundar showed that with determination, kindness, and wisdom, it's possible to lead with both heart and mind. His journey from a small boy in Chennai to the CEO of one of the most influential companies in the world was not just a success story. It was a lesson in how true leadership is about making a difference beyond oneself. After years of hard work, learning, and leading, Sundar Pichai had become more than just the CEO of Google. He had become a symbol of hope, resilience, and kindness for millions around the world. But what made his journey truly special was not only the success he achieved, but the values he carried with him every step of the way. Sundar's life had many layers. Behind the global fame and the endless meetings, he was still the same humble boy who once walked the streets of Chennai, dreaming big but also facing fears and challenges. He never forgot where he came from or the people who helped shape his life, including his family, teachers, friends, and even those who had hurt him in the past. One of the most important lessons Sundar learned was about the power of forgiveness and compassion. Meeting Raghu, his childhood bully, after many years, was a moment that changed his heart deeply. Instead of holding on to anger or resentment, Sundar chose to forgive. He showed kindness to someone who had caused him pain, proving that forgiveness can free us and open the way for healing and growth. This experience taught Sundar that everyone deserves a second chance. People's lives can take unexpected turns, and sometimes those who hurt us are themselves struggling. Sundar's choice to help Raghu quietly, without seeking recognition, showed the strength of his character. As Sundar continued to lead Google, he applied this lesson on a larger scale. He encouraged his company to be a force for good in the world. Under his leadership, Google focused on building products that helped people in their daily lives. Tools for learning, for health, for communication, and for protecting the environment. Sundar believed that technology should not just make money but should solve real problems and improve the quality of life for all people, especially those in underserved communities. He supported programs that gave access to the internet and education to remote and poor areas, believing that knowledge is a powerful tool for change. At the same time, Sundar never lost sight of the importance of staying humble and connected to the people around him. Despite his busy schedule, he made time for his family, friends, and for giving back to the community. He often spoke about how his parents' sacrifices had given him opportunities, and he felt a deep responsibility to use his position to help others. Sundar's story inspired many young people, especially from India and other developing countries. He became a role model who showed that it is possible to reach great heights with determination, hard work, and integrity. But he also reminded people that success is not just about individual achievement. It is about lifting others as you climb. Throughout his journey, Sundar faced many challenges. Leading a company like Google meant dealing with criticism, tough decisions, and constant change. But he approached these challenges with patience and a calm mind. He believed that problems were opportunities to learn and improve, and that good leadership required listening and adapting. One of the greatest challenges Sundar faced was balancing the rapid growth of technology with ethical responsibilities. The power of Google's platforms could influence millions, and it was important to use this power wisely. Sundar worked on improving transparency, fighting misinformation, and protecting user privacy, knowing that trust was key to the company's success. He also focused on making Google a safe and welcoming place for all employees. Sundar promoted diversity and inclusion, believing that different perspectives made the company stronger and more creative. He worked to create an environment where everyone felt respected and encouraged to share their ideas. Outside of work, Sundar remained grounded by his simple lifestyle and values. He enjoyed reading, spending time with his family, and staying curious about the world. He believed that learning never stops, and that staying open to new ideas was essential in a fast-changing world. Sundar's journey showed that true success comes from more than just titles or money. It comes from how you treat others, how you respond to challenges, and how you use your influence to make a positive difference. His life was a testament to the power of kindness, perseverance, and humility. Looking back, Sundar realized that every experience, the good and the bad, had helped him grow. The struggles of his childhood, the bullying, the doubts, and the hard work were all part of the path that led him to where he was. He understood that success is a journey, not a destination. Sundar's story also teaches us about the importance of dreaming big but staying true to ourselves. He dreamed of a better future but never forgot his roots or values. He showed that it's possible to be ambitious and successful while remaining kind and humble. In the end, Sundar Pichai's life is not just about becoming a tech leader. It is about being a good human being. His journey reminds us that no matter where we come from or what challenges we face, we can choose to rise, forgive, and help others along the way. His story inspires millions to believe in themselves, to keep learning, and to lead with heart. It shows that with courage, empathy, and hard work, we can overcome obstacles and create a better world for ourselves and others. Sundar's legacy is one of hope. Hope that kindness can change lives, that dreams can come true, and that each of us has the power to make a positive impact. His journey from a small boy in Chennai to the CEO of Google is a shining example of what is possible when we hold on to our values and believe in the good in people.